Right, this is 8.4, writing domain and range in interval notation by looking at a graph. So let's say you have a graph. Oops, let's do a better one than that. I cannot write today. That's because I'm not using the pen. So here's my pen. So here's my graph. Right, not that great either. Okay, and let's say I have a point here, and it goes no higher than 4. So I'll make this a 4. Right, and then I'm going lower than, let's say, -5, and it goes out to about 2. So 1, 2. So it does this. Okay, so here's my graph, and I want to know the domain and the range in interval notation. So for the domain, the smallest is right here. It's at 0, so that's a bracket. And then the largest is at 2, and it's also included. Then for the range, it doesn't get any higher than 4, so that's a bracket. And then that would be 4. No, that'd be down to here. This is the smallest, so that's -5. And then the highest is 4, so 4. So always, again, you always write the smallest number to the largest, and then you have to decide if it's a bracket or parentheses. And since they're both closed on all the ends, it's a bracket. Now let's say you changed it. Let's say it wasn't that anymore. Let's say it is an open circle. So I'm going to change that. Okay, so that comes down. Let's trying to pick this. Okay, so it comes down, and this time it's open here. Does that change my domain and range? Well, yeah, it does. Now the domain is still going to be from 0 to 2 because it stopped here. Okay, so it's still going to be a bracket 0. But then when it gets to 2, it doesn't include it, so you'll write 2, but it's now in parentheses. And the same thing goes for the y, for the range. It goes to parentheses -5 up to 4 bracket, because the lowest is -5, but it's not included, and it goes all the way up to here, which is your 4. So you have to be really careful what's open and closed on these particular types of functions. So let's take a look at a couple other ones. Let's go ahead and jump to the book, and here's one in the book right here. So here is one on page 580. What would be the domain and range? And it looks to me like, yeah, it starts at, for the domain, it's at -2 and goes all the way up to 3. And since they're both closed, then it would be brackets. So we would write for this one, for this particular problem, the domain would be bracket, and let's go back and take another look at it one more time. Yeah. So -2 to 3. So -2 to 3. And this is for problem 41. So -2 to 3 bracket. And then for the range would be as low as -2, and it goes as high as 2 for the range, because the range is the y, all the y values. So for that one, it'd be -2 to 2. So for the range, it'd be -2 to 2. So now let's go ahead and do 42. Okay, so 42 looks like he's got arrows here, and these arrows go on forever. So that means when we look in the left direction, we're going to need all the x values, because this keeps going on and on and on. Same thing goes with the right side. All the positive x's keep going on and on, because this keeps going on. So for 42, for 42, let's go back to here. Yep. So 42, we would need parentheses -infinity to infinity, and that will be my domain. And then what would it be for the range? The range, the lowest is at -3, but then it keeps going on and on and on and on and on. So that means we need all the y values in that direction to keep doing. So -3 to infinity. So -3 to infinity. So that would be bracket -3 to infinity. And that would be my range. And so that's basically how we do that. We look at the lowest to going to the highest, and same thing with here. I think what's misleading about 41 is people sometimes don't see these high points, and so the y goes as high as 2 here, and it goes as low as at -2 there. So that's where you have to be more careful when you're looking at these and deciding what the interval notation would be.